And yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are back on 5. The big news was that Jadon Sancho is now a Manchester United player. Now, obviously, you saw our video, me, Steve, and Rio going at it, discussion between Sancho and Saka. But today, we're going to focus again on Sancho. And we've got Big Steve here. He's a Man City fan. You are, aren't you? Like, proper City, innit?
Everyone knows Big Steve, don't they?
Well, not yet, but sure they will. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
look, you guys had Jadon Sancho before.
Yeah.
He's now a Man United player. Steve is absolutely buzzing. What are they getting in a player like Jadon Sancho? And is it going to be enough for Man United to challenge?
Well, I think they've got a great player. I think there was any Man City fan that says they didn't want Sancho at City was probably lying. He came from Watford. Obviously, he was there for a few years, and everyone had high hopes of him. You know what I mean? We don't know really what went on. It seemed to be somewhat over a pre-season tour. I don't think he was selected. Obviously, the kid was ambitious. Started angling for the move, and left. In my opinion, has he done the right thing in leaving? Some people say he did make a good move. Some people say if he stayed, he could have, been part of this City side. But look, he's a great player. He's one of the best English players at the minute. And for United, I mean, the last few years, United, on some of the signings they've made, I think, in my opinion, they're paying over the odds for certain players to get them through the door. They're not quite that.
It's not been good for them,
anymore.
has it? It's not as attractive as it used to be.
I think City put some little things out there and say, "Oh, Man City's after Maguire and that," and then I think United just panic and pay the money and get him. But I think City's playing games there.
You think you're playing games, Steve?
Might be right, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't have the confidence that we're a well-run football club behind the scenes by any stretch of the imagination.
So when you see the way Sheikh Khaldoon, El Khaldoon, whatever they call him, do you get jealous sometimes when you see the way it's operated over there at City?
100% you do, yeah, because they turned City from basically being Wigan Athletic to being a team that thinks they're one of the top teams in Europe. So
I love it, man.
Wigan
But he
Athletic.
did, though, didn't he? I mean,
love it.
ultimately, you had Frank Sinatra, and he was just the weirdest, most batshit crazy crook you've ever seen.
Mad.
Right? But then the Abu Dhabi group have come in, and they've done we can all slag it and go, I wouldn't necessarily want it for my club, but you would.
Yeah,
The way it's gone down, you absolutely would.
Yeah,
would.
yeah.
It was hilarious. The first 4 or 5 years, it was hilarious. We're signing Kaká, we're signing... And then you got rid of Gary Cook, you got some serious football people in, and the result has been sensational.
Unreal. Like you say, for my journey, from what I've been from, I've had a season ticket since '89. So to see what I've seen, I'd prefer to do it my way. I wouldn't have liked to be once at the top and end up slowly declining.
You mean like Steve? Is that what you're trying to say? Is that what you're politely saying?
Listen, we're not going away anywhere. No, Manchester City now. I mean, I've got mates, United fans, and it's killing them at the minute because it is. I mean, they're talking about United having a leaky roof, man. Yeah. Old Trafford's leaking. There's rats on the pitch. You know what I mean?
You look
Things
at the
like
difference.
That. It's madness, mate.
The difference in investment. Our owners have divested almost as much as they've invested. Wow. So the gap's billions. In terms, like if someone had just kept United spending the money they were making, we'd have been untouchable. It looked like Bayern Munich. But because we've had owners that have come in and levelled the playing field, Abramovich got bored for a little bit. He seems like he's got the bug again a little.
But he wasn't in the country, I think.
There's all sorts going on. I think he's getting his assets frozen and all sorts of shit. Yeah. So, but everyone has to go. I mean, it started probably about 10 years ago. You start to see City do a lot of marketing around Manchester. There was loads of graffiti and stuff like the Aguero one they'd done that in the past. There was a Blue Moon one, there was the Mancini one at the bottom of Mancini way. You have to take your hat off and go, I wish our fucking owners give that much of a fuck about Manchester and about the club in general. What they spent on the academy building and facilities. Yeah, of course
we had to cause waves in Manchester. Look, Manchester was dominated by Man United, you know what I mean? Every time we seem to do something, even a small achievement like second division playoff, bang, they won the treble. So it's like, everything was overshadowed. So what we've had to do is they've had to come in here and say, right, how can we compete with them over the road? We need to make the blue side of Manchester proud again. So they started off with these little quirky jokes, these billboards, Tevez and all that. It was rubbing the United lads up the wrong way.
What was it? Do you reckon it was?
But they were sort of
Tevez
sat back.
Not so much.
They were sort of sat back.
The Mancini one at the bottom of Mancini way did me in more.
They were sort of thinking, Yeah, it's City, innit? You know what I mean? We've seen all this before. It's City, but the difference with this City is we were backed big time, and they had a plan, and everything they've done has come to fruition. Everything Calhoun said.
Gary Cook was a fucking clown, and he was the typical City, like you've seen all this before.
Idiot.
But then they got Bajiristan and is it Soriano?
Soriano, yeah.
Fucking hell. Like, that's any club that would have got both of those guys in with the backing that they've got from the Abu Dhabi group, they've absolutely killed it. And, you know, anyone that says anything bad about them, especially from a United angle, it is jealousy. Like, United have got the history of having the academy, England's academy, essentially. Where do we play our games? Lee.
Yeah.
Like, I'd kill for a little academy stadium. We deserve to have an academy stadium.
And for those who are watching, I'm from London. I'm still learning a lot about the Manchester culture as I come. The difference between Lee and their academy, please, can you explain? And it's a genuine question.
From
That's
London
like
to
Wigan
Croydon,
Athletic and the Bernabeu.
Really? Oh, you think, really? Is it like...
Well, Lee's not a bad stadium. It's a pretty new stadium.
Okay.
It's just miles away, and you can't get there. Like, if you don't drive, you ain't getting there. I don't think there's public transport out there. It's miles away.
Is that why Ravel was saying that he would struggle to get to like training and matches and stuff like that?
What, when he was in the 23s, was that?
Yeah, remember he said it on our interview and he was just like, it was hard to get there sometimes.
No, I don't think that. I think that was just him, I think.
Okay.
No, I think it's a nightmare for fans. I mean, like, I don't think City have a traditionally large academy sort of following. I don't think that's something they do.
No.
But United do. Like, and I can imagine if we had an on-site academy stadium where you had an 11 o'clock kickoff before a 3 o'clock kickoff or something like that. Mate, what a day out that is.
Yeah.
And you know, and it's not something that is you just not, like I said, they've only just started painting Old Trafford. That's the first bit of money they've spent on it since they moved in 15 years ago, pretty much. Like, everything they do seems to be a reaction rather than forward planning. And I have to take my hat off to what City have achieved. Some of the stuff that they're planning with the clubs abroad, you know, the club in Brazil, in New York, is it Girona?
India as
Melbourne.
well. Melbourne.
Like, you know,
France.
Really good planning to sort of preempt that they're going to have places where they can bring... Like, if you want to be taking on a punt on a South American kid, that's a big ask to take him to go to the top four in the Premier League and see if he settles. If you've got a club you got one in Uruguay, is it?
Got one in Uruguay. We've got one in France. We just signed that Kai from Fluminense. And,
I just need to ask you about him, innit?
And Matinho.
Yeah.
Matinho, I've been told, going to what's it called? Troyes, is it, on loan in France that we own. And Kai's coming to the first team. So whether he's going to look at in pre-season, I don't know. But like Stephen said, I watched a documentary on the City TV about the scouting network, and it's a scouting network for the full City group. So for the full 12 teams is the same scout. So what they do, identify a player, they bring him into a central meeting, and all the scouts for the various teams are there, and they say, look, we don't think he's going to work in Melbourne, but we think he might thrive in New York. New York City's just signed some Brazilian kids as well, but they're just ticking along. So look at Jack Harrison in New York. As soon as he started to get big, City just grabbed him. You know, look at Aaron Moy in Melbourne. As soon as he got big, City grabbed him, and that's how they're running.
So the nightmare is, United had this 20 years ago. We had Gothenburg and we had Antwerp and we had all them. The Glazers went, how much is that costing? Fuck that off.
Yeah.
So my question is, now that we're seeing that it's a model that's working, you know, I'm talking not just for the United fans, I'm talking about the future Spotify owners of Arsenal Football Club. Do you reckon we're going to be moving towards the direction that they're moving on? Like, do you reckon the whole football world should be and will be?
United were visionaries with this in the link-ups that we had with Antwerp. You saw Danny Higginbottom and Johnny Evans and plenty of people go and get first-team minutes at Antwerp under United tutelage. And what City are doing is just a more expensive version of that by owning the clubs. But I think it's a great idea. Like, before someone else comes and snaps up some South American kid, and he's not quite ready for you to take the punt on him. Think of like Rafael and Fabio that we managed to bring in. We brought them in at 18. Yeah. What if we'd have left them playing Premier Division in Brazil for a couple of years and then mature them a little bit? I mean, it's a great move. And I am jealous that United aren't doing these sorts of things. And I don't think we're even going to be in the conversation for doing these sorts of things until the Glazers fuck off.
When UEFA came in and City were getting in trouble for allegedly breaking these rules, Calhoun did an interview and he said, in 3 or 4 years' time, everybody will look at the Manchester City model and say, that is how we need to run a football club. And I'm surprised that there's no other teams now out there who are thinking, let's get an umbrella, let's get some clubs underneath it. You know, because I've heard that Man City are charging like Melbourne City and teams like that 20 million a year to use our scouting network. So if you own 12 teams and they're all paying you £20 million a year, it inflates the budgets, man.
Think about Arsenal. If you had an extra 200 million a year, you could spend that on transfers. But not only that, the scouting networks.
It secures your future as well, man.
You only need one.
Yeah.
You only need one player. I mean, like, what's the team in Uruguay? They're probably picking people up for 300-400 grand.
They've just built a training ground for them. You've never seen out like it. FC Torque, if you look at their training ground, and it's same as cities. Everyone's got the same sort of training ground, same facility, same pool, same changing rooms, all the same. I looked at a fly-through video of it, what they've done over there in Uruguay. Unbelievable, man.
But think about that, right? You get the new Neymar, and you pick him up for 300 grand because he's still 16, 17, and you keep him within the group for a couple of years. Then when he's ready, you bring him to the Premier League. You've saved 100 million. So that's what people. The foresight is mad.
So basically, we agree that this model that City are going for, clubs should really potentially think about it. I mean, it's easier for you guys.
It's a model
you guys got the money, though.
Yeah, I think it's a model where you've got to have a lot of money.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a model where anyone who can just, let's grab a couple of clubs. I think it's well thought about. They're thinking about the fan base, Asia, India. They bought Mumbai City. They won the league this year in India. It's a crazy football place. They're rolling out soccer schools in India, Man City soccer schools. All the kids are getting little City kits and things like that. But United used to do that years ago. I grew up in Manchester. I go in school. We used to have Bobby Charlton soccer schools. My dad used to hate it. I'd come home and go, Daddy, I've been a Bobby Charlton soccer school and that. But City fans were minority then. But United were ahead of the game. Yeah. They were global. They were massive. And I'm not taking the piss because I'm a football man. But I say, if I try and say on some of these YouTube shows what I say about United, saying, look, the Man United I know, this is embarrassing to look at them because they were so powerful, strong, dominant. The teams that they put out. I used to go Old Trafford, shit myself. I think, oh man, I'm going to get mashed up here. I'm going Old Trafford, now I'm 10 foot tall. I'm bouncing in there, Torre and all that. We're all going mad. The City fans are jumping about and all that. We're taking the piss out of park in the bush. Your roof's leaking and all that. How's it got to that, man?
Oh man, listen, we're going to do a part 2 video soon. Not now because we've got a lot of videos.
Steve, give me this though. Pep was wrong, was he not?
Say again.
Pep was wrong on Sancho.
Looking at Sancho now and the player he is, yeah. But look, if you've got a young kid who's got a bit of an attitude and you're Pep Guardiola at that time, are you going to wear it? No, he's just gone.
Is it attitude or confidence, though?
Well, it can be misused, can't it? But Pep Guardiola's a strange guy. He gets rid of Zlatan, Ronaldinho.
Yeah, he's not about sauce,
He's not. He's in. Anyone that answers him back, I think he's not happy.
Yeah,
you're either Pep Guardiola and you're looking up to him like the Jedi, and you're thinking, I want to learn off Pep. If you don't toe to Pep's tune, dance to his tune.
That's like Jose, though, isn't it? Well, that's like what Jose was before. Okay, look, next time we have you on, Steve, we're gonna see if Man United can actually challenge City this season in the Premier League. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Give us a like, share, comment, subscribe. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and also make sure you check out the video that we did yesterday in regards to Jadon Sancho arriving to Manchester United. Steve, you still buzzing?
Of course I'm still buzzing.
Of course you are, mate.
It's not enough. It's not enough.
It's not enough, though. It's not enough.
But I'm buzzing.
Yeah, man. He's still better than Pepe. Is he?
I mean, obviously.
Lies.
He was better when he left at 17.
Get out of here. All right, see you soon. Bless.